This year, unlike last year, we have 3 Apple Watches in the lineup instead of 2. In the past, Apple usually only had 2 watches in their lineup. It would be the newest one that came out, and then the previous generation that was sold at a little bit of a discount. Now, that was up until last year when the Series 4 was actually completely removed from the lineup when the Series 5 came out. And that was probably because it was very similar to the Series 5, and Apple realized it would probably cannibalize the sales of it. So the Series 3 lived on as the cheaper alternative. To my surprise, the Series 3 actually did not get discontinued this year. I was kind of expecting it to because it was already 2 years old at this point, but it lives on in this year's lineup even though it is coming up to 3 years old at this point. Alongside this, we have 2 new Apple Watch models. We've got the Apple Watch SE, and then we've got the Apple Watch Series 6. Now, the Series 6 is the latest and greatest in the lineup. It comes with the same feature set as the Series 5, but with a few upgrades. It's got a new blood oxygen sensor. It's got a few other small changes, such as a brighter always-on display. And then there are a few new changes, as in there are a few new finishes for the case. So there's a new red and blue aluminum color, and there are some updated stainless steel finishes on the black and gold versions as well. So right off the bat, let me tell you that I don't think that you should buy the Series 3. It's not going to get software support for much longer, and at $199, it really isn't a good deal, I think. I bought this Series 3 right here that you're seeing 1.5 years ago in April of 2019 for $199 off of Amazon. So, I just think that $199, it's just best to stay away from it. I'll talk about this a little bit later. Now, the Apple Watch SE, on the other hand, this is a very interesting addition to the lineup. It shares the same design and display as the Series 6, but is significantly cheaper. This one starts at $270 and gives you the same design and display as the much more expensive Series 6. The SE does skip over a few features to make this happen, such as the ECG, the blood oxygen sensor, and the always-on display. Now, I'll be honest with you, in the last 2 years that I've had the ECG on the series, from the Series 4 onward, I just haven't used it as much. I've used it a few times to show it off on camera or to show people, that how it worked in person, but beyond that, not much. The blood oxygen sensor, I think it will end up being the same way. While it's a great thing to have, I don't think I'll be regularly using it. So the reality is, unless you have a heart condition or you have issues where it would be nice to keep a track of your blood oxygen levels, I really don't see why jumping up from the Apple Watch SE to the Series 6 just makes sense. Overall, I am just very impressed with the Apple Watch SE. Let me say, let's talk about the Series 6 before I move on. It's definitely the most advanced one of the bunch. It's got the best features, but it's also got the most expensive price. And what you get for your money compared to the SE is really only 3 things, as I said before: the always-on display, the ECG, and the blood oxygen sensor. The Series 6 also does offer a few more colors and case finishes that this one, the Apple Watch SE, does not, like stainless steel and titanium. But those do come at a more expensive price point, so that is something to consider. This is a very small upgrade from the Series 5. However, for the same price as the Series 5, you get more, so it's not really something I'm too worried about. The one thing I definitely will say is that this isn't meant for the Series 5 owners. This is meant for someone who has a Series 3, maybe a Series 4 that's kind of losing its edge or, has issues. But really, this is meant for first-time Apple Watch buyers, right? Most Apple Watch buyers are first-time Apple Watch buyers, and that's a pretty interesting statistic because then it makes so much more sense that, they don't do major updates, but they're adding things every year just to make it a little bit more enticing. They don't want older people to upgrade. They want new people to come into the Apple Watch lineup, which is why we've been getting such small updates for the last 2 years from the Series 4 onward. Now, for the same price, as I said, you get more. So really, there's just not much to complain about. The Series 4 was also the same price as this. So price-wise, you're not really losing out on much. You're just getting more features for your price. Now, if you're a yearly upgrader, that might be a little bit upsetting to you, but let's be real, there are very few people that buy a new Apple Watch every year. Not to mention, there are new colors. As I said, there are a few updates there. So if you weren't someone who wanted to just have some basic colors or wanted to have some more premium materials, the Apple Watch Series 6 makes sense. So with all three of these watches, the backbone is the Apple Watch OS 7. So this is the great thing about Apple, is that for the most part, functionality and usability of all three of these remains the same, right? Like, even if you look at it, the software in all of them is very much similar across the board, right? They are very close, and they give you a lot of the same features, a lot of the same health tracking, a lot of the same workout things. The workouts, it's not like if you get a newer one, you're going to get a more expensive one. It's going to be always, you get a lot of the same stuff. It's just the way it is with the Apple Watch, right? It's a great thing that Apple does with the software, where it just feels very similar throughout, and you don't really miss much on that end of the bargain. So that's just really cool. Now, which one of these should you buy? Now, that's a very different story altogether. And what I'm going to do is, break it down, because there are two factors that will come into this play: what your budget is, and what exactly you want the watch for. What are your needs out of it? So let me tell you who I think should buy each model. And if you just want to get into the Apple Watch world without spending too much, and you don't care about longevity, you just want to get in and try it out, the Series 3 is still a pretty good option. Software-wise, it isn't going to give you a lot of features, but it is still currently running on the latest version of watchOS. So, if you're just going to use it for a little bit, why not? But if you do want to buy the Series 3, please don't buy it from Apple. At $199, it doesn't make sense. You can buy it right now, brand new from Amazon, at $169. That's $30 right off the price there. So don't buy this brand new from Apple. I will have a link to that in the description, by the way, if you want to check it out. And just even better, just get it on the used market. There's a ton of these on the market. They've been selling for 3 years, so there's a bunch of them. So if you want to buy one used, you can get one for even cheaper. This one, buy heavily discounted or used for the best results. Moving on, let's talk about the Apple Watch SE, and this is the one that I really think is the big one. This is the newest looking watch, but it still is a it's got a lot of cool features, but it also maintains the price at a very affordable rate. This is for people that don't want all the newest health features. They don't really care about it, and it's not as beneficial to them. Not everyone needs an ECG or a blood oxygen sensor on the wrist, and this makes the right cuts to come down to that aggressive price point. And if you think about it, most people are probably going to be really happy with the Apple Watch SE, and I think this is the one to go for. Even if you are, looking at the most expensive model with cellular, it's still $40 cheaper than the starting price of the Series 6, so that's a big difference. You can get a 44mm cellular-enabled Apple Watch SE for $40 less than a GPS-only 40mm Series 6. That's a pretty big price gap in my opinion. Now, when you consider that you're getting 90% of the same hardware experience, that extra money just becomes so much harder to justify, in my opinion. So finally, let's talk about the Series 6. Who is this watch for? Now, this is the more interesting one, because I think with the existence of the Apple Watch SE, this becomes a lot harder to justify and sell. However, there still exists a market for this watch. The Series 6 is best suited for people that want all the health tracking features on offer. It's loaded to the gills with those sensors and for tracking stuff. And, if they hold value to you personally, right? If you're somebody who wants to keep a track of your ECG, if you want to keep track of your blood oxygen, this is the only one to go for. Like, this has got everything, and this is the one you want to go for. And another reason to buy this, if you want a wider range of colors and finishes. Now, this is important to some people. If you're wearing something on your wrist, it's seen everywhere. And if you're conscious about that and you want to go for a little bit of a different material option, like you don't want the aluminum, you can go for stainless steel or titanium on the Series 6, whereas you can't on these two. So, the series, and also, those stainless steel and titanium options offer you a more resilient sapphire glass. So if you're worried about scratching the watch, you could jump up to those, and you can get a much stronger sapphire crystal glass over the Ion X glasses that these three watches have, the aluminum versions have. So, if you're in the market for something like that, if you're in the market for that more expensive Apple Watch materials, you're really the only option you got to go for is the Apple Watch Series 6. So, this is definitely the one to get if you're not worried about budget. This is the one to get if you have a little bit of a budget constraint in mind and you want to stay a little bit, if you're somebody who is looking for a good value, this is the one to go for. And that's wrapping things up here. Personally, I think that the Apple Watch SE is the one to go for. It offers the most value for the most money, right? You get a lot for what you pay for, and it just has a surprisingly large amount of the features that the Series 6 has. And I was really expecting that they wouldn't give you the same display, but you get the same display in the larger screen, the same design. At that point, it really becomes impossible to even distinguish between these two, looking at them side by side sometimes. So, I think that if this is your first Apple Watch and you want to just try one out, go for the SE first, try it out, and I'm sure you'll be hooked from there on out. Let me know what you guys think of the new Apple Watch lineup. Which one do you think you'd go for if you're in the market? And if you have one currently, let me know down in the comments below. And if you have any questions regarding these and you're looking to buy one, feel free to ask me down in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer. And if you guys haven't already, be sure to follow me on social media. I'll have all the handles right here on the screen, and of course down in the description below as well. And if you want to go check out any of these watches, including the $159 Series 3, I've got links to those on Amazon right in the description as well. Go check those out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.